All right, so we're going to do a registration using targets. And then after we have that registered together in a model space, we're going to move that model space to a known control system using a control file. So first we're going to go to the project folder and create a registration. We'll leave it called registration 1. Scan world, add scan worlds. And then we're going to select each of the scans we want to register together. We'll use all of them 1 through 5. All right, then go to constraint, and we're going to select auto add constraints, target ID only. So let's look at the constraint list, look at our errors. We need to go to registration, auto update, and now we can see we've got errors from anywhere from 3,000ths to almost 300ths. So this control was done with GPS. I could go through here and disable to try to tighten it up. However, I've already tried this, and you actually eliminate too many constraints to try to get it down below 200ths. This is just typical when using GPS for control. So that's going to be good enough for now. Registration, create scan world, freeze registration. And actually, before I do that, let me just show you one more thing that happens. So if I go into one of these scan worlds, go into a model space here, let's look at 4. So notice 4, it's on the target, right? And what's this, 2? 2, you also have the vertex where the target is. Just want you to pay attention to that. All right, so now I'll go to registration, create scan world, freeze registration, and then registration, create an open model space. So whenever you freeze the registration, and the reason I showed you before, after you freeze the registration, it will then account for that rod height that you entered in and move the control to the ground, assuming that your rod height was correct. So you can see 2 is on the ground there, and also 4 is no longer on the target. It's down here on this sidewalk. So just wanted to show that. Oh, and let's also click here on this bridge and check out our coordinates. So we've got 5,000, 5,100 basically. All right, we'll remember that because we want to make sure when we apply control that we do see a change in our coordinates. All right, so I'm going to close this model space and I'm going to go back to my project folder and I'm going to import the control file. All right. First, though, let's look at the text file. So, okay, this one's a little bit different than I'm used to. It does have a header. It starts with northing, easting, elevation, point number, and I believe these are feet, not US survey feet. So that's important to know before we import our text file. All right, open up. Now, columns, so that just had 4 columns. Rows to skip, 1 because it had a header. Unit of measure, feet. All right, this was northing. This was easting. This was elevation. And then this, don't put point number. Make sure you do target ID. If you don't have target ID, this will not work. Those point numbers are actually considered target IDs. Very important. All right, so that all looks good. Hit import. Now we're going to do a new registration, call it registration 2. All right, so it's opened up and basically we have a lot of the same steps. So scan world, add scan world. Now this is important. You want to pick the text file first and then your previous registration. So you're now going to register the control file to that first registration you created. Hit OK. Constraint, auto add constraints, target ID only. All right, check out the errors, register, auto update. Okay, again, these were the GPS, so they're larger errors than I personally like. We could probably disable this, which I also don't like to do because there's only 3 of them. You can see how that is off now, and we've tightened up just at 11 thousandths for the. Anyway, that'll work for us for now. All right, so I'm going to go to create scan world and freeze registration, and then create an open model space. So let's go down, select a point on the bridge again, look at our coordinates. Now you can see that we're in hundreds of thousands of feet, not 5,000, 5,100. So that's just a way you can verify that there was translation and rotation to get on the correct control system. And that pretty much does it. That's how you do registration using targets in Cyclone and then applying control. So good luck. Thanks.